What is going on, ladies and gents? How are y'all doing? Back again with another football video. Haven't made a football video in quite a while, mainly because of the ongoing coronavirus thing. It's a very sad situation that all of us are in, and I'm hoping this thing comes to an end soon because it really sucks that such a tragedy like this would just have a big impact on the world. But as you guys know, Euro 2020 tournament got officially moved to Euro 2021, so we'll have to wait another year before the Euro tournament starts, which sucks because I was really looking forward to the Euro tournament this upcoming year, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen. FIFA decided to postpone it, but we still have the UEFA Nations League later this year, so I'm going to be making a bunch of videos on that. So that's one thing that I'm excited for. That's one football tournament that we're going to have this year. But anyways, in this video, what I want to talk to you guys about is the best and the worst England World Cup teams. Basically, give you guys my little rankings on which England teams I think are the best to ever produce results in the World Cup and the ones that are the worst to ever produce the results in the World Cup. So without further ado, let's get started. So first of all, starting with the worst World Cup England teams. Now, this is based off of what I've seen off the top of my head. So if you guys have any other lists, then please let me know in the comment section below. But without further ado, so one of the worst England World Cup teams that I ever saw would have to be the 2014 England World Cup squad. Because I don't know what happened with England and Brazil in that World Cup 6 years ago, but England's performances were absolutely abysmal. I mean, no joke. They struggled against Italy. They struggled against Uruguay. They struggled against Costa Rica. I just think that England, I don't know what happened. Did England lack leadership in that tournament or something? I don't know. I don't know how else to say this, but the only thing I have to say about England's performances in the 2014 World Cup are that they just absolutely didn't even were not able to find any rhythm, I feel like, and that's probably why England didn't make it out of the group stage in the 2014 World Cup against Italy, against Uruguay, and against Costa Rica. So yeah, those without a doubt, 2010 and 2014 England World Cup teams by far the worst England teams I've ever seen. 2010 England World Cup squad. Now, obviously, some people can make a case that the 2014 England World Cup team was without a doubt the worst England World Cup team ever to produce results. But the only difference between the 2010 England team and the 2014 England team is that the 2010 England team were able to get out of the group stage, while the 2014 England team couldn't even get out of the group stage. And in 2010, England, they just absolutely struggled in the group stage. I mean, where do I even begin? That game against my USA team, USA and England, they both drew. And then England drew against Algeria. But England still were able to beat Slovenia in the 2010 World Cup. Yeah, that's why I think England went against in the group stage was versus Slovenia. And then that game in the I think it was the round of 16. Yeah, round of 16 against Germany. That would have to be one of the worst England results I've ever seen produced, because basically in that game, Germany could have easily won the game 5-0 against England, because, I mean, the biggest issue in that game, some people want to point out, Frank Lampard's ghost goal, because not going to lie, I don't understand how the referee not see that the ball clearly crossed the line, and I think that if the goal was given, then England probably would have gotten a bit momentum, and who knows, maybe they would have beaten Germany, but I highly doubt it, mainly because let me tell you how bad England's defense was against Germany. England's defense was so bad that even Neuer had a goal assist against England's defense when he did that crazy long free kick to, I forgot who it was, Ozil, Muller, or Klose, and then that set up a German goal. So, regardless, even if that goal was given, I still think England probably would have lost against Germany, in my opinion, just because of how bad and how poor and abysmal England's defending was. I mean, guys like Ozil literally were able to brush past England's defense with pace, and that's just absolutely just freaking nuts to think that your defense would get outpaced by a midfielder. That just regularly doesn't happen. But unfortunately, that's what happened in the game against Germany for England. So yeah, that's one of the worst England teams ever. But anyways, now that we have that out of the way, let's get to the best England World Cup teams ever. So where do I begin? First of all, I would have to probably pick the 1986 England World Cup squad, because that 1986 World Cup England team was pretty good. They had talent on offense. They had a bunch of talented players from Shilton. I forgot his first name. Is it Peter Shilton? Yeah, I think it's Peter Shilton. And then they had Gary Lineker. And obviously, we all know what happened in the 1986 World Cup. England, that game against Argentina, another controversial game where Maradona, he scored it with his hand and the goal was given. And in my opinion, that goal should not have been given at all. Mainly because, I mean, it was clearly obvious that that World Cup game was without a doubt one of the worst refereeing results I've ever seen. Also in the 2010 World Cup, in the game against Germany, the refereeing was also really terrible just because of that goal that was not given to Frank Lampard, and then the referee did not disallow the handball by Maradona when it was clearly obvious that Maradona put his hand up, and if it wasn't for that, then I think England probably would have won the. Well, yeah, I think that there's a chance that England would have defeated Belgium in the next game and then go on to win the and then set up a rematch with Germany 20 years ago, because England won against West Germany in the 1966 World Cup, so the 1986 World Cup would have been a great rematch between England and West Germany, in my honest opinion. But yeah, 1986 England team wasn't for that handball by Maradona. I think England probably would have gone far. And maybe they would have defeated West Germany in the final, who knows. And then my next team on this list would have to be the 2002 England World Cup squad. Oh man, that England team was absolutely stacked with talent. I mean, you had Ashley Cole, Sol Campbell, Rio Ferdinand, Steven Gerrard, you had Michael Owen, you had a bunch of talented England players, and I don't know how England didn't win the game against Brazil, because England, they were up 1-0, but then Brazil, they were going against a very good Brazil team, and then Brazil equalized because Ronaldinho, no, I think it was Rivaldo that equalized or was it Ronaldo that made the equalizer for Brazil? And then we all know what happened. Ronaldinho's crazy free kick against England. I don't know how David Seaman didn't stop that ball. That ball just completely caught David Seaman by surprise, because I feel that if David Seaman had read Ronaldinho's free kick, then maybe England would have defeated Brazil, because Brazil were down to 10 men. But because of that crazy free kick, that knocked England out of the World Cup, and then Brazil would go on to win the World Cup. So, yeah, those England teams, without a doubt, will go down as one of the best England teams to never win the World Cup. So my next England team on the list would have to be the 2018 England World Cup squad. Now, I don't know about you guys, but the 2018 England World Cup team was absolutely incredible, and I still don't understand how they didn't win against Croatia. Now, before I get into that game, going back, England, some people will say, oh, England had an easy schedule in the group stage, but if you look at the knockouts, England, they showed up in the clutch. They were able to produce results for the first time ever in a very, very long time, because in the game against Colombia, England, for once, they won on a penalty shootout, and Pickford, he made a lot of clutch saves against Colombia in the penalty shootout. He made like 2 really clutch saves, and then in the next game against Sweden, England, they won 2-0. And then in the game against Croatia, man, England, they could have easily won that game 3-0, because the way how I see it, going back to that Croatia-England game 2 years ago, England were performing very, very well within the first 20 minutes of the game. Like, not going to lie, within the first 20 minutes of that match, England were absolutely, Croatia had no answer for England. They didn't. England, they got a goal because Trippier scored a wonderful free kick. And then Harry Kane, oh man, I don't know how Harry Kane didn't make that 2-0, because Harry Kane should have made that goal, in my personal opinion. Because if Harry Kane makes that goal to make it 2-0 for England, then there is no way that Croatia come back and defeat England. But because of that miss, in my opinion, was very costly for England, because after that, Croatia gathered momentum, and their experienced midfield is what allowed the team to beat England. Because if it wasn't for Croatia's experienced midfield, then I don't think England would have lost that game. But Croatia's midfield made the ultimate difference in that game, because then Croatia, they equalized after Perisic scored an absolutely crazy leaping goal. And then in extra time, England, I think that maybe they just ran out of gas or something, because I still don't understand how they got beaten by Mandzukic on that goal, where Mandzukic was just able to sneak past John Stones and then pounce that ball into the nets to make it 2-1 for England. So yeah, that practically ended England's World Cup dreams. But England were so close to making it to the final for the first time since 1966, because this was the 2018 England World Cup team was the best England team to produce results at the World Cup since the 1990 England squad. And so the next England team on this list is the legendary 1990 England World Cup squad, where they matched up in the group stage against Ireland, the Netherlands, and Egypt, where England won 1-0 against Egypt, being their only victory in the group stage. However, in the knockouts, they performed very, very well. They made it far. They defeated Belgium in the round of 16. Then they defeated Cameroon, only to fall to West Germany in the semifinals. And England were just a penalty shootout away from booking a rematch against Argentina from the 1986 World Cup. And that would have been a legendary matchup between England and Argentina in a World Cup final. But unfortunately, that did not happen, mainly because England just couldn't convert on the penalty shootouts when they needed to, and West Germany defeated them. So that's that. That would have to be the next best England team, in my opinion, to not win the World Cup / the next best England World Cup squad. And for the final England squad ranking, the next best England World Cup team in terms of producing results would have to be the 1966 England World Cup squad. That will still go down as the greatest England team of all time, mainly because that is the only time that England have ever won a World Cup tournament. Now, obviously, the 1966 World Cup did have some controversy, but I'm not really going to get into it because people don't realize how good that England team was with Sir Bobby Charlton. You had Gordon Banks, you had Geoff Hurst, who remains the only player to score a hat-trick in a World Cup final. And that 1966 World Cup final against West Germany, England won 4-2, and that gave them the World Cup trophy. And to this day, this is the best result that England have ever produced in the tournament. And I'd say that had England won the 2018 World Cup, could have they been ranked better than the 1966 England World Cup squad? That's really hard to tell, but going back, that England team, they were really good. They were really good at the 1966 World Cup because I watched highlights of that game, and boy, did they produce just great results against West Germany. Now, obviously, that game did also have some controversy because there's debate as whether or not the ball crossed the line, and it's a very complicated thing to talk about. So I'm not really going to talk about it here unless people want me to talk about it in another video. But anyways, guys, so those are the best England teams based on my rankings. And if you guys have any of your own best England World Cup teams, then please let me know in the comments section below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and talk to y'all later.